Hello and welcome back. So in previous lecture, we already covered the fundamentals of joining functions. In this video, we'll move on to the left join function. Let's first take a look at what left join is. So to understand what left join does, we first have to figure out what left means. The word left represents the left dataset, which is the first dataset we put into the left join function. For example, in this expression in line 56, the left dataset is simply the cow dataset, and the WDI dataset will thus become the right dataset. Okay, so after figuring out which dataset is the left dataset, let's move on to see what left join actually does to the left dataset. In short, left join zips the right dataset, which is the WDI dataset, onto the left dataset, which is the cow data. Let's take a look at a diagram together to see how left join actually works. As you can see in the diagram, we have two datasets, the blue dataset and the green dataset. The blue dataset is the left dataset, and the green dataset is the right dataset. After we call left join on these two datasets, we first copy every data from the left dataset into our new data frame, as you can see here, located at the bottom of the diagram, right? Next, the function zips the right dataset onto the new data frame we just created, as you can see here, represented by this red line. In order to do so, the function finds common elements between the left dataset and the right dataset. Then the function puts value these common elements have in the right dataset onto the new column, which is the X2 column in our new data frame. If an observation appears in the left dataset but doesn't appear in the right dataset, the function will assign NA to such an observation in our newly created dataset. To summarize, left join keeps all rows from the left dataset, which means all the data in the first dataset we input into the left join function will get preserved into the new data frame. After that, the function will go to the right dataset, find common elements using the identifiers, and zip common elements data onto the new dataset. If common elements were not found, the value will simply be assigned as NA. So let's take a look at how left join works in R. Okay, so in line 56, we call left join on cow data and WDI data with country code and year as identifiers, and then assign the new data frame to left data. So here's our newly created dataset, left data. Since both data sets, cow data and WDI data, all have the milix variable in their name. Milix x, as you can see here, represent the milix variable from the cow dataset. Milix y over here represents the milix variable from the WDI dataset. Okay, as we can see in the left data, everything from the left dataset is kept well, right? Milix x. There's no NA in the milix x column. This means that we copy every single data from the left dataset into the new dataset. After this, we can see that milix y and country, which are two columns in the right dataset, has some NA. This confirms our observation that left join simply zips the right dataset onto the left dataset. However, I think it's even better for us to see the number of rows to confirm that left join actually zips the right data set onto the left data set. Meanwhile, keep everything from the left data set, right? So here, let's first call the unroll function on left data to see how many rows we have in the new data set we just created. Let me clear my kernel. Okay, so let's call the unroll function on left data. As we can see, the new data set, left data we just created, has 10,662 rows. Let's then call the unroll function on cow data, which is the left data set. As you can see, the row number for left data and cow data are identical, right? This confirms our observation that left join keeps all data from the left data set and copy them into the new data frame. Let's then call the enroll function on WDI data. As we can see, WDI data only has 9,650 rows, right? Okay, so just to summarize, the left join will keep every single data in the left data set, which is the first data set we input into the function in the new data set it created. At the same time, after doing so, the function will use the identifiers we provided to find common appearance of data in the right data set. If found, their value in the right data set will get copied into the new data frame constructed by the joining function. If not, NA will be assigned as their value. Okay, so all you have to remember is that if you want to zip a data set onto another data set, it is proper to call left join. After figuring out left join, right join will become extremely easier. So I suggested that you spend a little bit more time on this video and figure out how left join works, as this will make the next video, which will talk about right join, much more easier. Thank you, and looking forward to see you in the next tutorial. Bye.